you're new to this channel, my name's Miriam. I'm a junior doctor working in the East Midlands. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. And today we've got another video for you. So I've got a special guest today. This is Mevish, and you can introduce yourself actually.
So hi guys, I'm Mevish. I'm a junior doctor also, who's taken the medical route, and I've just recently completed my MRCP and will be going on to further specialty training.
So as normal, I'm going to be putting some timestamps in the description bar below, so you can skip to the section that you want to go to, but we are going to be talking about the MRCP, so stay tuned. So what we're going to start off with is talking about the MRCP itself. So what is the MRCP?
So MRCP stands for Membership of the Royal College of Society of Physicians, and it's a diploma that you need to progress onto specialty training within a medical field.
So it's a postgraduate qualification or exam that you have to sit, is that correct?
It is, yeah. It's an exam based on 3 separate parts.
Okay, so talk to me about the different parts and the different components somebody has to go through to complete that membership.
Okay, so it's split into part 1, which is a combination of 2 papers that are about 3 hours long, and the part 2 is also 2 papers that are 3 hours long each.
And has it always been like that, or is that a new system that started?
So that's a new system that started since 2018. It did used to be there used to be 3 papers, but now there are 2 papers all sat on one day.
And after you do the 2 written papers, is that it, or is there
No? So after that, you have the sort of clinical examination part of the MRCP, and that's called PACES.
Oh, okay. So that's like an OSCE type examination, okay.
Yeah.
And then to be successful, you have to have completed all components. Do you have to sit all the components at once, or are they at different times of the year, or what happens?
So it's impossible to sit all of the components at once. So you have to do it at certain points. There's usually a 3 or 4 month gap after passing part 1 that the part 2 date is available for you to sit.
And then if you pass each component, how long is the pass valid for? Do you know?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay, but you can pass individual components, and then if you fail one, you just repeat that one. You don't have to
go bask and repeat it all from the beginning.
Excellent. So now we're going to talk about PACES examination, because that part of the MRCP has got a lot of interest, and I think it's quite interesting to go through the different components. So what is PACES made up of?
So PACES consists of 5 different stations. Station 1 is designed to test your abdominal and respiratory examination skills, so it's split into 2 separate cases. Both the patients may be in the same room, so you will move from the abdominal examination to the respiratory examination with the same set of examiners.
And is it just examination, or do you do history as well?
It's just examination, so you have approximately 8 minutes to do your examination, and then you will feed back to the examiner.
Cool. And then station 2?
Station 2 is the history taking station, so you will be given a hypothetical or a real patient with a condition, and you will be assessed on your history taking skills. It's just like medical school examinations and OSCEs, in that you will do it in a systematic manner, so you do a sort of presenting complaint, history presenting complaint, review of systems, medication history, and drug history and family history. So
it's not actually different to a normal history that you take?
It's not, in the sense that the components are the same. However, at this level, you are required to sort of delve deeper. So it's not just about what medication the patient is on, but are they taking it? Are they getting any side effects from it? And things like that. Okay,
fine. So then station 3, what's that?
So station 3 is split again into 2 examinations. So you will have a cardiovascular examination and a neurological examination. As with station 1, both patients will be in the same room. You'll be examined by the same examiners, and you will move on from one patient to the next.
And then station 4, what's that?
Station 4 is communication skills and ethics. So you may be given a scenario that you will then have to sort of assess the situation and look into further details. So it might be testing of a HIV patient, or something that's where ethical skills are required. It is important to actually get those 4 ethical principles in there when you're talking to the examiners, as you will get.
So the ethical principles being beneficence, munificence,
non-maleficence.
So beneficence, non-maleficence, justice and autonomy. That's it. I do remember things. And then station 5?
And then station 5 is a clinical station. So you will have 2 different cases And with each case, you have to take a brief history and examine the patient, and then come up with a set of diagnosis or differential diagnosis to tell the examiner.
And can I check, have we got real patients in these?
We do, yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are real patients with real signs.
Okay, cool. So that's PACES. So moving on, we're going to talk about resources. So you've just been successful in passing all components of your MRCP.
Yep.
So can you tell us and our audience about the different resources that you used, or resources that have been recommended to you that you actually think is useful for other people that are starting out?
Yeah. So first of all, there are two main question banks available. They are called Pass Test and Pass Medicine. And it's important to utilise those question banks for preparation for Part 1 and Part 2. You will get sort of 3,000 questions that you will work through, and some of those do actually come up in the exam.
So they're just MCQ type questions which you can either do on your computer at home or on your mobile device.
Yep.
At work, etc. So I think that is actually quite a good idea. So if you've got 5 minutes free at work, you can just sit and do a couple of questions. It gives you instant feedback, so it tells you the right and wrong answer.
Yep.
And also it gives you a description of the answer, doesn't it, at the end?
It does. So there are slight differences between the Pass Test and the Pass Medicine.
Okay.
In that Pass Medicine will give you a deeper explanation of why this is the correct answer. However,
Pass Test.
Pass Medicine.
Pass Medicine. Okay.
Yeah. However, the Pass Test questions are more in the same format as the exam.
And Pass Medicine, from what I remember, actually gives you resources, so it actually links you to resources that you can then look deeper into the answer, or gives you guidance that it's based on, which I think is really good.
Yeah,
I didn't sit MRCP, but Pass Medicine has FRCA questions and other Royal College questions as well.
Yeah.
And just to check, we can find these at passmedicine.com and passtest.com, is that right? Yeah. I'll link these down below as well. Okay.
Do that again.
So now we're going to talk about other online resources. So we talked about the question banks, and can you tell me any other resources we might use online?
Okay, so you might also choose to visit the MRCP website, where it provides you with scenarios for Station 4 and Station 5. So these might be scenarios of you were given a history from a patient, and you'll be asked what investigations would you do, what is a diagnosis, and what are your differentials. So these are the questions that you will be asked on the day.
So are these sample questions that they have on their MRCP website?
Yeah, and
okay,
they're free to use and download.
I think it's really important to go through any questions that the college themselves have put up on their website, because actually there's a higher chance that they're going to come up. So in terms of courses, did you go to any courses, or are there any courses that lots of people talk about but actually might not be what you think?
So courses is an interesting one.
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
There are courses available for Part 1, Part 2 and PACES. Lots of people don't go on courses for the written examinations, however I did. I went on a course for Part 1, it was in London, it was Pass MRCP. I found it useful, some people may not, but it was sort of going through questions in a systematic manner, finding out why you should choose the answer that you choose and how to exclude other answers. So I thought it was a vital exam technique sort of opportunity.
What was that course called?
It was Pass MRCP.
Oh, okay. And then are there other courses that you've heard about that other people might go on, or that are available in certain regions?
Yeah, so when you're preparing for the PACES, you will have the opportunity to choose between 3 or 4 main courses. The one I went on was the Ealing PACES courses, which was in London. It was a 2-day course. It cost £890.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was one of the cheaper ones.
Oh, okay.
There are other courses, such as Pass PACES, which are sort of generally 3 or 4 days, but they were also a lot more expensive.
So just to note that if you're in training at the moment, so you might be in core medical training or other types of training, you can actually claim the money back for all these courses as part of your study budget. If you're out of training, you can actually still speak to your employer and just see if you can claim some money back for those. But actually, if you go to multiple courses, they can be quite costly. And in terms of courses, are they mainly for the written and then for PACES, or are they combined?
Yeah, they're usually separate.
Separate, okay. So now we're going to talk about books. So can you tell us about any books or resources that you recommend?
Yeah, so there is a book called Cases for PACES.
I'll try and put a picture or a link down below.
Okay, and it just consists of different scenarios and different diagnoses that may come up in the exam. It's split, like the exam, into stations. So we'll go through station 1 with abdominal cases and cardiovascular cases, and then station 2 and so on.
And is that so that's only for PACES? Yeah. Are there any books that you used for the written part?
No, I didn't use any books.
So part 1. So part 1 and part 2, no books, just online resources and things. Yeah. And then PACES, books, courses, and online question bank. Is there a question bank for PACES?
You don't really need a question bank for PACES because it's mainly examination.
Yeah.
There is another book actually called Essential Examination. Some of you may have already used that to pass your medical school OSCEs, and that also it goes through the examination of a patient. So it will start off on the nails, looking at the pulse, what you might find. So for an aortic regurgitation murmur, you might find
she doesn't
wide pulse pressure.
It's fine, she's passed, so it doesn't matter. So thank you for all the resources that you've talked about. You've talked about the different structure of the examination, which resources we can use. So now, I think a key question is, when is the best time to sit the examination? So somebody might have started their core medical training post-foundation years, or they might just be a specialist doctor, a trust grade, etc. When should they sit the exam?
In my opinion, it takes approximately 18 months to get all 3 parts of the MRCP completed, and you will get points for your specialty examination if you have MRCP. So it's important, I think, to complete the MRCP before you apply for specialty training. So when you say specialty training, do you mean core medical training? No, I mean specialists. So if you want to apply, say, for dermatology or haematology, then before you put the application in for that. But
as part of eligibility, you have to pass MRCP, is that correct?
You have to pass MRCP in order to take up the post. But if you have passed it by the time you apply for the post, you will get more points.
And then how long in terms of revision before you start thinking about sitting part 1? How long do you think we need to leave before sitting part 1?
I think it depends on how many hours you put in. But I would say 3 to 6 months per exam.
Per exam. So if somebody was just starting out in terms of their revision, how do you tell them to structure their revision?
So I would say start with part 1 and probably start to think about it at the end of foundation year 2. If you sort of do it at the end of F2, then you'll be ready to sit the exam in the first sitting, which is usually October to November in your starting of your IMT 1 year.
And IMT being internal medical training.
Yeah.
So where would you say they should start? So I might be somebody that started thinking, right, I want to sit MRCP, I want to apply for specialty training when I've finished. Where should I start?
What do you mean?
So should I start with books in terms of resources? Where should I start, and how should my revision plan be structured?
Okay, so you need to pass the part 1 first. So the first thing you should do is sign up to the question banks. I would recommend signing up to them both. They're not that expensive. And just start doing the questions in your spare time. Download the app. You can do it whilst you're sitting down. If you try and aim to do 25 to 50 questions a day, you can easily come up to the 3,000 mark within a few weeks to months.
Wow. And then slowly factor in any books that you might want to use. And then for PACES, of course, you would think about going in and staying back after work and performing examinations with real patients that are there. Is that 100%, correct?
Yeah. It's not enough just to go on the course for PACES. You need to be able to practice the examinations as well. So your hospital may have a dedicated consultant who does PACES training. If you find a couple of other people who will be sitting the exam in either the next sitting or the one after, and you can form a group where after work you can go around the hospital and examining patients with signs. I found that was a really good and useful tool.
So I think that's really interesting, and I think that's really important to think about getting a mentor, being a consultant colleague of yours that might be interested in medical education, in particular MRCP, and getting them to guide you, but also having study buddies as well. So other people that might want to sit the exam at the same time, I think that's really good and really useful, because you can not only motivate each other, but you can also set targets and make sure you both meet those targets, or all of you meet those targets.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing is finding the patients with signs.
Yeah.
So I think it's important if you go to the MAU unit and you ask.
So the medical assessment unit.
Yeah, so you ask the doctors there. Maybe you could put a piece of paper and they could write on which cases were interesting, and then you could come and examine them at the end of the day. That's something that we found to be quite efficient.
Okay, great. So thank you very much. So today we've talked about MRCP examination, its components, the different resources, and then some strategies that you've used or that you think are useful for anyone that's starting out, that's thinking about sitting the examination. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hopefully we're going to bring you lots more videos, and we're going to have Mev as a guest another day.